Hey, what's up? I am Ara, aka I Eat Zebra, and welcome back to the channel. The latest installment in the Hunger Games universe, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, is going to be in theaters on November 17th, which is right around the corner if you are watching this before that date. I am beyond excited to see this movie. I'll be going opening night. I hope a lot of you are as well. I plan to cover more about the film once it releases, so make sure you're subscribed. If you have not read the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes novel, but plan to see the movie, you may not know what to expect. Even if you have seen or read the original Hunger Games books and movies, this story is set 64 years in the past. A lot can change in 6 decades, and in Panem that is the case. I'm going to cover what you need to know going into the film, without giving away any potential spoilers. We will explore the history of Panem and provide some context of what this era in Panem in the Hunger Games was like. We got a good amount of ground to cover, so let's get to it. The country of Panem is located in what we would recognize as North America. After natural disasters and terrible global wars, society as we know it collapses. From the ashes of our destruction rises the nation of Panem, consisting of 13 districts in the capital. The head of state is the president, who resides in the capital. Currently, President Ravenstill is in office. He is the uncle of Academy student Felix Ravenstill. The districts are led by mayors. Even though there is a president, they do not have governors or senators, as the districts do not hold too much political power outside of the mayors. In the early days of the capital, each district specialized in their own industry that contributed to the overall economy of Panem. These industries were predominantly controlled by residents of the capital. For example, the Snow family invested in weapons within District 13 and had factories there. There were also cases where some businesses were owned by district residents, like Strabo Plinth, while living in District 2, had an ownership in the munitions industry. Despite living in District 2, Strabo was able to travel to different parts of Panem, including the capital where he met Mr. and Mrs. Crassus Snow. You do not only have to be a successful business owner to travel throughout Panem. The nomadic, musically inclined group, the Covey, would travel along the eastern portion of Panem. There was a tourism industry where capital residents and the very few well-to-do district residents would travel throughout Panem leisurely. One of the students from the academy, Arachne Crane's family, owned hotels in the districts, and when she was younger, she would travel throughout Panem extensively. This was all before the first rebellion. The civil war that tore Panem apart. After years of increased oppression by the capital, the 13 districts rose up in rebellion to fight for their freedom. The conflict lasted for about 3 years and was devastating for the country. Fear, hunger, disease, violence, death, and chaos impacted both the districts and capital alike. The last 2 years of the war, referred to as the Dark Days, the capital was under siege. Times were so desperate that people were starving and went so far as to resort to cannibalism. Soldiers were not the only people dying, as a lack of resources killed many capital civilians. It looked as if the end was near for the days of capital rule. That was until the secret ceasefire pact made between the capital and District 13 that ultimately turned the tide of the war. The capital finally turned things around, and everyone is led to believe District 13 was annihilated and everyone in it. We find out in Catching Fire, which is 75 years later, that the people of 13 were still alive and operating underground, literally. But that is the future. Let's get back to the past. After the capital victory, harsher rules are implemented to control the districts to prevent another civil war. Strict travel bans were put into place, so nomadic groups like the Covey, who have never truly settled in one district, were now stuck and unable to leave the last district they were in during the war. This did not impact those able to afford to leave the districts post-war, like Strabo Plinth. With the surface destruction of District 13 and the death of Crassus Snow during the war, he was able to rise even further as a munitions manufacturer. Due to his support of the capital during the war, he was able to buy him and his family's way into the capital. So far that we know of, Strabo is the only person to do so, but I doubt he is the only one. With the need to start reconstructing after the war, the nouveau riche's cash is welcome to invest in the rebuilding of the capital to its former glory. If Strabo was able to do it, I wouldn't be surprised if a few others may have taken advantage of the opportunity as well if it were presented to them. The cruelest development from the aftermath of the First Rebellion was the creation of the Hunger Games. We learn who created the games and why in the movie, so I won't go too much into that here. However, I will say the point of the games was not solely to punish the districts, but something even more disturbing. But again, that is something that is deeply explored in the novel and based on the trailers will be in the movie as well. The Hunger Games is an annual event where 2 children, a girl and a boy, are selected as tributes from the districts to fight to the death until one remains as the sole victor. The first 10 games are all fought in the old Capitol Amphitheater, which is a far cry from the high-tech arenas we see in the 74th and 75th Hunger Games. This story is set during the 10th Hunger Games, with the war not being that long ago and within recent memory for most people. The Hunger Games is not an event people look forward to. Most people in the Capitol do not watch the games, and the districts barely have televisions, let alone good reception to even view the games. So for them, outside of the reaping ceremony taking place in their own home, that is the most they see of the Hunger Games. For the first 9 games, after the children are reaped, they are all transported in cargo trains to the Capitol. The day after their arrival, they are thrown into the arena with a handful of weapons, and the games commence until one person remains alive. After they win, they are sent back home with their life and severe PTSD. The 10th Hunger Games, when this film is set, is different from the 9 games preceding it. For the 10th year of the games, the head game maker, Dr. Gall, decides to shake things up a bit. Partnering with Dean Casca Highbottom, they select 24 seniors from the Academy, the elite secondary school in the Capitol, to serve as mentors to the tributes. The plan was for the mentors to gather information on their tributes, prepare them for an interview with local weatherman turned Hunger Games correspondent Lucky Flickerman, to drum up more interest in the games. The students come up with a lot of innovative ideas that we see later in the games. I will not go over specifics as I would be shocked if the film left out how impactful the one and only student mentor's legacy on the Hunger Games is. The way the tributes were treated during the early days of the games is vastly different from the celebrities we see them become. They are not fed all-you-can-eat buffets while traveling on luxury passenger trains, being groomed and styled by a glam squad, residing in a luxury apartment, and all of the other Capitol refinery tributes like Katniss were exposed to. The tributes were seen as animals and were treated as such. Due to wavering interest, some debate whether the Hunger Games should even exist, which we can expect to see explored in this movie. I'm going to go over the characters we can expect to see in the film. I'm not going to go over everyone's personal story as that will take all day, but a brief introduction. Starting with our 3 main characters, our little trio if you will, Coriolanus Snow, Sejanus Plinth, and Lucy Gray Baird. Coriolanus Snow at this time is a high school senior and not the president we know he will eventually become. His classmate and fellow mentor, Sejanus Plinth, son of District 2 munitions titan Strabo Plinth, and Lucy Gray Baird is a member of the Cubby and the Girl Tribute from District 12. 2 other important characters from the school are head game maker Dr. Volumnia Gall and the Dean of the Academy, Casca Highbottom. Coriolanus is the POV for the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes novel, so we will spend time with his family, his cousin Tigress Snow, yes, that Tigress, and his grandmother the Grandmam. Another member of the family, even though it is not by blood, he is a local former nightclub owner and black market salesperson, Pluribus Bell. He helps the Snow family out a lot before, during, and after the war, so I had to include him as a member of their extended family. The Snow family also spends a significant amount of time with the Plinth family, consisting of Sejanus, Strabo, and Ma Plinth. We do not learn Ma's name in the book as that is all she is referred to as. Sejanus and Corio are not the only mentors as there are 22 additional students participating in the program. I am not going to read all of them here by name as that will make this video significantly longer. You can see them all listed below. I will shout out a few significant ones. Clemencia Dovko is Corio's best friend. Lysistrata Vickers is the mentor for the other District 12 tribute. Arachne Crane and Felix Ravenstill are both mentors I've mentioned throughout this video. And the last one I will shout out for now is Livia Cardew. And if you know, you know. The mentors each have their own tribute. Again, with 24 tributes, that is a lot to go through. If you want a more in-depth look at each tribute and their corresponding mentor, check out my How Did She Win video linked below. Besides Lucy Gray, I will highlight a few tributes on the list. The other District 12 tribute, Jessup, serves as an ally to Lucy Gray. We also have Marcus from District 2, the same district Sejanus is originally from. A few other notable tributes are Reaper from 11, Treach from 7, Coral from 4, and Lamina also from 7. Reporting on the games, we had the pleasure of Lucretius Lucky Flickerman, and in the novels there's also Lepidus Momsey. We have seen plenty of Lucky in the promotional material, which is leading me to believe they may have combined Lucky and Lepidus in the film, which does make sense. However, I personally prefer Lepidus to Lucky in the novel, as he seemed to take his work a little bit more seriously. Another group we'll get to meet is the rest of the Covey, the former nomadic group Lucy Gray is a part of. The Covey consists of the Baird cousins, Maud Ivory, Barb Azure, and Lucy Gray. There is also Tam Amber, Clerk Carmine, and Clerk's brother Billy Tope, who is on the outs with the Covey. The Covey have lived in District 12 since the war ended, and despite it being 10 years of them residing there, some people still treat them as outsiders, like the mayor and his daughter Mayfair Lip. There are plenty more characters in the story, and I was just barely scratching the surface. With the premiere of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes soon approaching, I hope this provided you with some context for what you should expect to see in the film. This story explores the origins of the spectacle the games eventually evolve into, while diving deep into the lore of Panem. If there is something else you think I should have covered in this video, let me know below. Let me know what you are most excited to see in the upcoming movie. Please make sure to like and subscribe, as I have plenty more of the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes content coming your way, so hit the notification bell to be alerted when those videos drop. While you're at it, like the video, as it really helps the channel grow. See you next time. Bye!